G'day folks, and welcome back to Horsemanship 101 again. Today I want to talk about clicker training. Well, my opinion of clicker training. Remember, I'm saying my opinion, and it may or may not be a surprise in some ways, but I'm going to start off and just summarize my opinion, and then I'll go into more detail and some of the pros and cons. And my opinion of clicker training is I have nothing bad to say about it. However, it's not for me. I do not use it, I don't practice it. However, I have nothing bad to say about it. I've seen some marvelous stuff done with clicker training. But let me elaborate. You see, as a lot of people know, I promote gentle methods with horses. I like to be very fair to the horse. As a lot of people have noticed, the relationship that I have with my horses, it's a little different than what a lot of people have. And I'm always looking for better ways of doing things. So, of course, because of the reputation that clicker training has for being both fair and gentle, I had to explore it. So I did, reasonably extensively. I certainly can't say I know everything about it. That would be a lie. But I learned enough about it to learn it wasn't for me. And I'll explain why. You see, clicker training, well, it's got a few problems. Not the method itself, but the people that are practicing it. The method itself, I don't think there's a problem with it. But the people that claim to be practicing clicker training, well, in many cases, they really aren't. They think they are just because they got a bag of treats and a clicker in their hand. They think they're clicker trainers, but not really. There's a lot more to it than that. It's actually a very in-depth process. It takes some time. It takes a lot of time to learn and to execute properly. It's not real quick and easy, and it's definitely not a simple thing, and it takes time to learn to do it properly. And, well, that's one of the problems I have with it. I just don't have time to do it properly. Now, what I'm already doing, I find to be relatively simple by comparison. So, and I already know it. I'm just tweaking it and making it a little better as I go. But the basic method, that I'm using, I already know it. So I don't have to learn it from scratch. Whereas if I was to get into clicker training, it would be like starting all over again. And this is what you got to keep in mind. If you are interested in clicker training, it's like starting all over. And it's a very in-depth, detailed process. And, it takes a while to learn. Quite a while actually, and to execute it properly on your horse. Now, this is something that, one of the, like I said, the pros and cons of it. For me, that's a bit of a con. I just don't have time for it, honestly. Also, I find that within the group of people that claim to call themselves clicker trainers, like I said, there's a lot that are practicing clicker training, or claim to be, that really aren't. Just because they got a bag of treats and a clicker doesn't make them a clicker trainer. And, within the group of people that use clicker training, there's, not a lot of agreement. And, well, of course, that's not a particularly unusual thing in the horse world in the first place, but it seems to be even worse when it comes to clicker trainers. And for people that are promoting a positive reinforcement thing, some of them can be pretty darn negative too, and there seems to be an awful lot of squabbling and bickering and all sorts of stuff. And you're going to get a lot of conflicting information when you're trying to learn about it. And the people that do truly know about it, well, that's another problem, is I found they're very few. There aren't a lot of people that truly understand clicker training that are really what I would consider an authority on the subject. The few that are, they aren't giving out information for free. And I can't say as I blame them, because they've probably spent literally years learning how to do it properly. And if they put that much time and effort into learning it, I think it's only fair that they charge to pass that knowledge on. So that's, but unfortunately, I'm a bit of a cheap guy. I don't like paying for things, so I find it easier doing it this way. At least for now, I can do this without paying. And the other thing about clicker training is, there's an awful lot of disagreement, as to how it works, what aspects of it do and don't exist, and a lot of stuff like that. And I just find that to be, a bit problematic, is that it seems like there are so few people that and I've seen a few that practice it, that actually do so reasonably well, in my opinion. And they aren't horribly judgmental people. They're even quite respectful of people of using completely different methods. That's great. Those are people that I have respect for, and it's not so much what they're doing, but how they're doing it and their general attitude. And as one person said, that is a clicker trainer, is there's good and bad in all kinds of training, and even the pressure and release type of training that I do, which is very minimal pressure. They said even that, if done properly, there's nothing wrong with it. So, it's kind of the thing. It's more of your attitude than what you're doing. But, go back to the clicker training. Is one of the other downsides of it, is I find, is I do believe it has limitations. I don't believe that you can possibly cue a horse to be ridden without exerting some kind of pressure on it. And a lot of the purists figure that there should be absolutely no pressure at all in clicker training. Although there's, that's again one of those things that they don't all agree on. Some will say you can't avoid it. Well, I don't think you can either, actually, because those that truly understand what pressure is to a horse, just your presence can be pressure. Talking to your horse can be pressure. There's a lot of things, and that's where one of those things that I think is causes problems, is people don't really understand what pressure is to a horse. So as a result, they're promoting something that they don't actually truly understand. But like I said, for the type of things that I'm doing and what I want to do with a horse, I don't find it to be a good, effective method. But I'm certainly not going to criticize it. If you want to try it out, use it on your horse for your purposes, go ahead. I have nothing. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. But be cautioned. It's not for every application. And the reason I just suddenly turned around and looked at this one is, this would be a perfect example of a horse that clicker training probably would have never worked on, just because of her nature and the way clicker training works. I don't think it would have worked on this horse. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have. You need a little bit more direct approach than what clicker training does. So, be aware that, as with anything, there's, time and place for it, right and wrong applications, and right and wrong ways of doing it. If you want to pursue clicker training, be prepared to put in a lot of time and effort just learning how to do it, and then the amount of time that it takes to actually execute it on the horse as well, because I don't think it's, from my understanding of it, it's something that takes a little time. It's not an exceptionally quick thing, but then again, that all depends on the horse. And so, be aware that, you're going to get a lot of conflicting information. If you want to get into it, you're probably going to have to pay for some good information on it. But again, like I said, I have nothing bad to say about clicker training. It's just not for me. I don't practice it. I don't use it. The concept behind it of positive reinforcement, I think that's a good thing. I think the people that are using clicker training generally have a good attitude towards horses. They're trying to do right by the horse, provide the horse with a good, positive thing. But I do that too in my own way. So I have nothing against clicker training. It's just not for me. Have a good day.